Okay, hello watcher, welcome to this reading. This is going to be a pick a card reading on the question, your next chapter. So what is it, I guess? I have 3 books today. I'm going to do bibliomancy and then I'm going to do a short tarot because honestly I just want to try and stay on topic, don't want to stray, and that's that. Okay, for the first pile I have Heart of Darkness. I went shopping in my library, so this is going to be random. This is The Showings and or Revelation of Love by Julian of Norwich. My cousin's dog literally destroyed this. But you know what? The content survives, cover or not. And the last book, for some reason, is Pamela by Samuel Richardson, considered by many to be the first novel. Okay. I don't know why it's here. I didn't even read it when I was supposed to read it. Yes, I wrote a paper. Yes, I got an A. Pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. Let me read first. Okay. Oh, this is a great page. Wow. One of the most famous quotes ever. Okay. It was curious to see his mingled eagerness and reluctance to speak of Kurtz. The man filled his life, occupied his thoughts, swayed his emotions. What can you expect? He burst out. He came to them with thunder and lightning, you know, and they had never seen anything like it, and very terrible. He could be very terrible. You can't judge Mr. Kurtz as you would an ordinary man. No, no, no. Now, just to give you an idea, I don't mind telling you, he wanted me to shoot too one day, but I don't judge him. He wanted to shoot me too one day, but I don't judge him. That's hilarious. Shoot you? What for? Well, I had a small lot of ivory the chief of that village near my house gave me. You see, I used to shoot game for them. Well, he wanted it and wouldn't hear reason. He declared he would shoot me unless I gave him the ivory and then cleared out of the country, because he could do so and had a fancy for it, and there was nothing on earth to prevent him from killing whom he jolly well pleased. Ooh, okay. And it was true, too. I gave him the ivory. What did I care? But I didn't clear out. No. I couldn't leave him. I had to be careful, of course, till we got friendly again for a time. He had his second illness then. Afterwards, I had to keep out of the way, but I didn't mind. He was living, for the most part, in those villages on the lake. When he came down to the river, sometimes he would talk to me, and sometimes it was better for me to be careful. This man suffered too much. He hated all this and somehow couldn't get away. When I had a chance, I begged him to try and leave while there was time. I offered to go back with him, and he would say yes, and then he would remain, go off on another ivory hunt, disappear for weeks, forget himself amongst these people. Forget himself, you know. Why? He's mad, I said. He protested indignantly. Mr. Kurtz couldn't be mad. If I had heard him talk only 2 days ago, I wouldn't dare hint at such a thing. I had taken up my binoculars while we talked and was looking at the shore, sweeping the limit of the forest at each side and at the back of the house. The consciousness of there being people in that bush, so silent, so quiet, as silent and quiet as the ruined house on the hill, made me uneasy. There was no sign on the face of nature of this amazing tale that was not so much told as suggested to me in desolate exclamations, completed by shrugs, in interrupted phrases, in hints ending in deep sighs. The woods were unmoved like a mask, heavy like the closed door of a prison. They looked with their air of hidden knowledge, of patient expectation, of unapproachable silence. Okay. Period. Oh, see, here it's in the book jacket. You can't judge Mr. Kurtz as you would an ordinary man. Yeah, it's something about the mythologizing of a human. A killer, more specifically. So I took some notes before I started the piles. So the keywords that I have for this pile are crane, which to me represents patience, The number 8, the beauty and the horror. That's from Dune. Bella, don't talk about Dune challenge. Fail. I'm gonna fail. Heart chakra associations. I saw someone eating a heart, and that, like a human heart, and then the word awakening, and the phrases that I got were, there's something about this that's to do with a star that you've been following for a long time. That's interesting because that's how this person views Mr. Kurtz. I think this is like his like assistant person. Okay. It's having me flip it. So this is the card, the High Priestess. My throat is tickling. It's talking to me about the number 8 and how the duality of life always merges back into itself, or merges back into each other. And it's talking to me about the High Priestess being someone who has a sort of dark vision, a night vision, an ability to see into the blackness of the womb and the universe. Okay. I'm seeing the word patience. So the next chapter is related to something that you've been waiting to happen for a long time. The 6 of Swords, okay. This represents a release and a loss. I'm seeing where I wrote the word home here, so maybe it's the loss of a certain home or the idea of a home. Or in this case, it would be the native individuals of this land losing their home forever and it never being the same. Okay, I'm looking at the tag here. It says mind your hand. Interesting. It's talking to me about as though it were a card game, right? Oh. Okay, so I'm seeing alone for a long time. Okay. Okay, so this is sort of a giving. I wrote this poem, and there's a line in it that says, when the rice blew into the basket, it had to give up its ideas of being alone. And it's talking to me about that. It's sort of like when you're the High Priestess, you get to sort of live in this obscurity, this obscure place where your heart is protected. Or see here, there's actually a moon right over her heart, and it's like, it's about seeing your heart as something that, you only know the true illuminated truth of, but it's saying that it's coming to the light in a way that maybe is actually beautiful, but you're experiencing in a horrific way. Or maybe it's a horrific way and you're experiencing it to be beautiful. Okay, so it's saying off my heart, which is like something that I watch a lot of like critique content about Christian evangelical influencers, and something that they'll say is like, something's on my heart, or I need to get something off my heart. And I feel like when they say it, it kind of has a spiritual implication. Like, it's on my heart and it's related to my faith, or I don't know. So maybe it's something about that that's intriguing. It's interesting that Heart of Darkness is here. It's talking to me about Colonel Kurtz, who's sort of like this, I don't know, there are moments in it where he sort of is running off. He's always running off. I'm seeing a wheel. So there's something changing about the action right now. Six of Swords, yeah. Yeah, it's giving me this retreat energy, this retreat. Or yeah, it's about the retreat into the self, into the heart. I'm sort of seeing as though if I were looking up at the stars or the sky, and it's sort of like just that one-to-one relationship that you have with everything else, right? But this is changing. There's a reversal. A change in the wind, okay. Oh yeah, okay, I guess, or see, this person's in a boat, right? So if you were to, I don't know, get in a boat thinking that you're gonna go to the place that you always go to, which is inside yourself, where you find peace, and then you end up somewhere else because of the wind. Oh, the Ace of Cups, wow, that's crazy. Or yeah, in this rant, it's sort of like this person is like expressing this loving the unlovable, this embracing of the unacceptable. Skulls, doors, keys. Okay, I'm seeing this crane and it's talking to me about like being an outcast and being in exile, and the truth of your heart being that you are severed from it. Okay. I'm actually hearing a phrase popularized by a spiritual cult leader that I don't care for, Teal Swan. The completion process, which is her like book. Not read it. I've listened to, I did like a documentary or a podcast or whatever it is, but ow. Or she has a strange philosophy in which she, I'm sure she wouldn't describe it like this, but promotes suicide in her followers. she's also kind of like a megalomaniac who like self-mythologizes and like, if you haven't heard of her, I mean, she's pretty interesting. Honestly, I'm a little afraid to talk about her. Like, I know she has some like rabid followers, but also like, okay. But the fact of the matter of my opinion is that I think she's a highly manipulative person, and her focus should be on healing herself and not healing others. That's what I'll say. Ace of Cups. Okay. This is the new world, the new life. Okay, so let's talk about Dune again. It's talking to me about the poison of life bit, which is like, is physically poison, but it is mystical life. Okay, so it's talking to me about how there is a relationship between the mystical and the material in our life that can sometimes feel like beauty and horror, and trying to get to a place of, I don't know, ecstatic revelation, but also grounded reality. But I'm also seeing a chain popping open. Okay, let's get a final card for the next chapter. It's related to something related to the heart and the spirit that's been coming for a while. Okay. There's the Justice card and the Magician card. So it's about reaching a milestone where you are so in tune with your own heart and your own spiritual rhythm and the rhythm of the universe that it's like you're able to make a divine choice about what you want. And I don't even want to say what you want to manifest. Like, that is, it's cheapening. It's about what you want, what you want in the mystical realm, that you're gonna pull from one world to the other. Skulls, doors, keys. Yeah, it's almost like something has gone through like a death process or a spiritual purification process, and it is now going to be reborn into your life through your heart. It's interesting that I brought up evangelical Christianity because I feel like this is kind of like, or like the concept of being like a born again Christian, or like it's something that people can go through cycles with. Elephant. Okay. All right, this is where we're gonna close. It is an ancient desire of yours, an ancient memory is coming to revisit you. Elephant. Oh my God, it's about with the ivory. Wow. Or yeah, I just keep hearing something ancient is going to revisit you, and it's like laughing or like, oh, the horror. It's I'm seeing the word awakening, but I'm looking at the back half of it. It's so the word kenning, which is like an ancient sort of poem. It's like it's more than that. It's a way of communicating, or it's a form of communication, an emission, a specific kind. But it's definitely going to, I'm from Justice and the Magician and the Elephant, it's just, I'm getting such like, just peace in the self, peace in the knowledge that I'm doing what I need. Or it's like, it almost looks like a ghost, right? A good ghost? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So you'll be receiving an ancient visitor, and it will bring you a lot of peace to your heart, and finally you'll be able to embrace the new life that you have been transfigurating. That's from Harry Potter. Transmutating? Maybe? Shapeshifting. Almost want to say weirding. Okay, or I'll just, there's almost like a crazed laughter to it. I'll just leave you with that. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. It's like, it's good, but there's this maniacal aspect to it. I don't know. Okay. All right, my loves. Well, I can't do you more than this, honestly. I think it'll be okay. See you next time. Hello, pal number 2. If you chose this ripped up book, The Showings by Julian of Norwich, the first book written in English by a woman ever. Welcome to this reading. Okay, so I'm gonna try and be as gentle with this message as possible. It's not like a bad prophecy, but it is a bit of a tough one to describe or deliver. So this book, and then some parts of this, I took some notes, and it's talking to me about the number 5, which in tarot represents contraction, building strength, usually a sort of low point. And this is so you can build the muscle to get to 10, right? Because if it's all smooth sailing and there's never any harsh strength required, you can't get to the permanence of a 10. So we're at 5. There's dueling images talking to me right now, actually. It's quite interesting. Let me give a little background on this. So Julian of Norwich was a Christian woman in medieval England. She's from Norwich, or yeah. She's from Norwich. And at a certain age, she was a very devout woman, and she had a very personal relationship. And at a certain age, she decided to become an anchoress. I don't know if the vision predated her anchoress vows or initiation, or if it happened after. Either way, she decided to lock herself in a room for the rest of her life. That's what being an anchoress is. And you cannot leave. People feed you. You have to have a certain amount of money and pay for it. And it's basically a sort of, it's a faith choice. It was a certain path that was open to spiritual women at that time. And for some reason, that's the path that she chose. That's what she chose. And there's a period that kicks off the events of the text. So it's a theological text, it's a visionary text. It's her own account and then her own theological interpretation of a vision that was given to her. So it starts off, and she describes herself as praying for a sickness, a physical illness, and the visions that were revealed to her during this. I think this happened over like the course of like maybe 3 days. I'm not quite sure, it's been a while. I have to brush up on this, but it was a very short vision. She survived her experience. Oh, she had like a multitude of visions, but she immediately wrote down her account of the experience. This is called the short text. And then she spent the next, I think, 20 years in her anchor hold producing the long text. But in one of the visions, she describes herself as being revealed to seeing a hazelnut in the palm of a hand and having the understanding that this is the relationship to our world and to God is as though we're a hazelnut sitting in his hand. But I have here a cracked open peanut, and this is where I come to the end of the road with Julian, right? Or because there is something inside of me that needs the nut to be cracked open. There's something that I need it to be split. And I think it's, I'm looking behind me, I have this picture of Boyne, I'm sorry. Okay, let me restart. I have this photo of Bowen behind me that I ordered from an artist, and she's holding hazelnuts in her hand, which have a big role in like Irish folklore and history. So it's intriguing to think about what that image could have meant to her in that context. But there's something about a sort of a teaching period that is going to come with a fair bit of discomfort, because it's about deconstructing a worldview. The Four of Swords. Yeah, so this talks to me about a difficult process of healing. But in your allowance, in your acknowledgement of the wound, that heals something even deeper inside of you. The process will be to heal from whatever wound it is. I guess in her case, the sickness, but it revealed in her something deeper, something so much more meaningful. The Nine of Cups, yeah. It's a new dream. A new dream. You have the Five of Swords in reverse. Oh, okay, so we're doing 4 to 5. This is the process. So the Four of Swords, we're healing something internally. We're learning something new in this next period about why we're so disconnected from our dreams, about why we can't seem to tap into what we truly want. It's interesting. Or it's very like, or it's being very straightforward in talking to me about like deconstruction, like from a religious perspective, or like this is a Christian text, one of many that I studied. And while I admire this, and you know, she's an icon to me, I don't necessarily have the same beliefs. I leave room for a different interpretation, as I just did with the hazelnuts, right? I sense that there is more. And it's telling me that this is the next stage to get beyond the Five of Swords. It's almost as though you thought your path or your assignment was going to be participating in something, and it's actually in destroying something, which kind of mirrors my own path in this, where I thought that I could, I don't know, at one point I wanted to do scholarship like this, and at this point I don't really know how I feel about that, but obviously I'm not doing it, so. Let me go deeper into the Five of Swords as a card, and then I'll look through the glossary like it wants me to. The Five of Swords is about feeling like in order to prove something to yourself, that you have to win. And to the point where you overlook, forget, don't see who you're hurting in the process. And this is about, that's intriguing. It's almost saying that that sort of behavior, that practice is part of the dream block. And that this experience, whatever it is, that felt like it cracked you, it's not destructive, it's revealing, it's revelatory. Yeah, it's almost like it's talking to me about, as I described the anchor hold, it's this locking away. And it's almost pointing me to the opposite of this. As though you think that you are a destructive person, so you sort of lock those impulses away, but you end up in the Five of Swords energy anyway, because that insecurity has you playing a harsher game than the people around you. And that if you liberated that feeling, you would find a dream attached to it. Cheer, facial expression, demeanor. Or, okay, it's saying like, it's acknowledging the difficulty of the path, or the stage, I should say, not the path. Or I'm just saying it's acknowledging the difficulty of the five. And it's being encouraging. It's saying that there's gladness to be found there. Or you might not, or it's kind of like this, or like, did she enjoy being sick and almost dying and like having that crazy experience? But obviously she got 20 years of purpose out of it. It's like some things need to be destroyed in order for us to find what else is there. The Star. It's saying that there's a dream returning to you. Yeah, the Star. A dream returning to you. A life beyond feeling like you don't belong. I think that's it, guys. Intriguing. Okay, I gotta go get the card on the floor. That's the final. I don't want to get up, guys. I don't want to. Okay, it's the Three of Swords. Wow. Yeah, it's saying that like letting go of this Five of Swords mentality. This win at all costs, zero-sum game, nothing that I do is actually going to change the situation. It finally means that you get to like loosen that pain inside which thinks those things, and let that go. So while a difficult experience with a lot of emotions, it is overall for the growth and betterment of your psyche and your life. Okay, that's all I have. See you next time. All right. Okay. Hi, Pile 3. Welcome to this one. I am the most removed from this book out of all of these, so this is going to be a fun and weird one that I don't know where it's going. Okay. All right, I'm going to read that. Okay, this is like, okay. All right, so I'm seeing it from a perspective of you're creating something and people are going to like it. They're going to be entertained and they're going to want to share about it. So Pamela censured 1741. Pamela, under the notion of being a virtuous, modest girl, will be introduced into all families, and when she gets there, what scene does she represent? Why, a fine gentleman endeavoring to debauch a beautiful girl of 16, which is correct. This entire maybe it's a movie. Ooh, if you guys make a movie, put it in the comments. Duh, Jesus. Yeah, this book is like a girl moving to this guy's house and he just harasses her the entire book until they get married. That is what happens. There's deeper significance. There's gender, like, it's gender satire, it's class satire, but it takes a lot of like context to be able to read it. Here are the keywords I have for us. 8, the 8 of Wands. That was the card that flashed to me when I was doing this pile. It's so interesting. So the 8 of Wands is one of the most powerful energies in the entire tarot deck. It is so much bigger than I even understand. It is pure movement, right? Pure aligned movement. Which is telling me that this phase of yours, it goes beyond communication. It is expression. The symbols I have are the butterfly. So definitely something, and then I had chrysalis. So the emergence of something that's been growing for a long, long, long time. Another image was a braid, like a 3-strand braid. And I don't know, this represents unity, protection to me, love, devotion. Maybe something, it could be related to something like cultural, like teaching something from your culture or sharing something from your culture. That's interesting. The word chrysalis led me to the word salient. So that was interesting to me. It's like, it's talking to me about how this is going to be received and that people are actually really going to understand not only what you're saying, but why you're saying it. And they're going to find value in what you're adding to a bigger conversation. So at the time when this came out, people found a lot of salience and value in his sort of dramatic and at times satirical expression of the way that fine gentlemen will abuse their power. Temptation. Apple. Okay. Temptation. This isn't usually a message that I would give, but it's talking to me about the temptation of just sort of putting something out of your mind or just sort of putting something off and distracting yourself with something else. See, it's like she has this gold chest right next to her and she's sort of just sleeping. Or yeah, it's almost talking to me about like sitting on gold, like, and it's about to come to the light. Okay. Ooh, the Ace of Water. Wow. this seahorse carrying a pearl, right? I never listened to the song. I was just humming Memory from Cats. Okay. Yeah, it's talking to me about like something that you've been like asleep to for a long time is like opening back up. Or it's speeding back up. I'm looking at this carriage. Carriage. So like that's like Cinderella-y to me. Oh, that's interesting. Or it's talking about something that you sort of like believe that is too good to be true. Maybe it's even your own idea. But there's something spiralic about it. There's something so natural and right about whatever it is. So well placed, well said, salient, relevant. Something world's classics. Yeah, it's almost like it's almost like an old type of story, but it's like we tell those types of stories for a reason, because they're good, because we like them, because they teach us about ourselves and each other. Or yeah, Pamela is like, or like Beauty and the Beast is kind of like Pamela, or like there's very similar energies. That's interesting. This like princess, the second princess thing. Ace of Water. So it's a pearl though. So it's talking to me about offering up an authentic, sagacious, is that a word? Yeah. I just don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Interpretation of, I just heard the word colonial grief. I don't know whose idea that is, but it's talking to me about it in the way that when there's an incision or a grain of sand or some sort of injury or wound in the oyster, that's how the pearl forms. So it's talking to me about going to the difficult places in order to create something really wise and authentic and beautiful. And then it's talking to me about offering it in a way that doesn't have expectations on the audience. That's important. That's what the seahorse is talking to me about. Like, it's interesting. Because obviously they have their own sort of gender fuckery going on. Okay. You have the Fool. It's she looks like Lucy to me from the Chronicles of Narnia. Maybe it's like something old that you like. Like I've been talking nonstop about like kids stuff. So maybe it was like something that you liked when you were young and you're revisiting it and giving it your own spin. But there's also a part of it that is, oh wow, look at this. Okay, so if that's Lucy, then this is Susan, right? at the end, it's like she loses the ability to go back to Narnia with them. She loses the ability. She stops believing, and it breaks that. The portal closes. Here go memory again. Oh, here guys. I open the page and the first word I see is fool. Okay. Well, here I am, come back again, frightened like a fool, out of all my purposes. Oh, how terrible everything appears to me. I had got twice as far again as I was before, out the back door, and I looked and saw the bull, and I thought, between me and the door, and another bull coming towards me the other way. Well, I thought, here is double witchcraft, to be sure. Here is the spirit of my master in one bull, and Mrs. Jukes is in the other, and now I am gone, to be sure. Oh, help, cried I, like a fool, and run back to the door as swift as if I flew. Wow. Okay, yeah, this is like, she like tries to escape the house like a bunch of times. I think that's like what's happening there. I can't be sure. Yeah, it's encouraging. It's saying that the only way to get out of this sleeping on the self, sleeping on the gold that is to offer from you, to escape in this case, she's escaping the house, or escape wherever you want to escape from. That's making you want to sort of sleep, or not believe anymore, or not trust your own memories, or not be yourself. It's saying that the way through is back through your old self, and in offering that authentically. There's a coat of arms on this carriage. So, okay, that's talking to me about clan, about family, about talking to me about freedom. It's not to RuPaul it, but we get to choose our family. This is a Pegasus, which reminds me of a book I loved as a child, Pegasus. It had these amazing illustrations in it like this. It's talking to me about like a Valkyrie. And it's talking to me about Lucy, because I actually just looked this up like recently, because as a child, I was obsessed with the crowns they wear at the end of Chronicles of Narnia, and I wanted to see them, and honestly, they still hit. But I was with a friend of mine, and she was like, oh, the crown, and she was like, oh, Susan's? And I said, no, Lucy. And it was so funny, because we had each like attached to our own one, which is hilarious, because I was like a bow and arrow kid, so I should have been relating to Susan, but there's just something about Lucy and me that has always rung true. And I looked it up, and it's like her name at the end, and it's Lucy the Valiant. So interesting. It's something about that. It's about integrity of spirit, of bravery, or she's the first one, right? first to go, first to arrive. It's all about perspective. It's almost saying like the magical world, the real world is calling you back home to yourself. It's actually so incredible. Or I saw a video of the like kids who were in the Chronicles of Narnia, like the siblings, and they were all grown, and they did like a tour for them, and they brought them into a room where they had all their costumes that they wore in the movie on mannequins. And the girl who played Lucy is like freaking out because her mannequin is like this big. And she's like, I can't believe how small I was. I can't believe how little I was when I did this. And she actually got down on her knees and hugged herself, like in the outfit. It was so cool, honestly. Or like, it was a very like physical expression of like inner child healing and like embracing the child inside of you. And it was literally crazy, like, to see her next to, like, her old clothes, like, because she was so little. I think about that, I'm like, oh my God, she was, like, I don't even know how old she was, like, maybe 10? Like, she was so little working that job. It's hard to outact James McAvoy at 10, but somebody needs to do it. I'm looking at this Fool card 0. It's like, you can feel defeated by being back at 0, or you can feel the wholeness of your existence and be at peace, and it's up to you. But the offer is there. I can't wait to hear what this pile has to say, because obviously there's something coming. So, thanks for watching. See you next time.